What's up, everybody? Pete here, and just want to start off by saying this is all kind of crazy. The fact that it's been, 2 or so weeks that we've been kind of isolated and quarantined from everyone and everything, it's changing a lot. It's actually changing everything from our daily habits, our daily normal, our daily routine and structure. It's changing everything. I mean, I'm right now isolated in CCV. I haven't been staying here. I snuck in to film this, don't tell anybody, even though you're gonna watch this. But I'm isolated, no one else is here. I'm strapped up. Nope, Purell, it's good. No one's gonna get me sick, so we're good to go on that front. But if you don't know, I'm in the warehouse of CCV, and this may be just a basement to you, but to me, this was my start. 6 years ago, I gave my first ever sermon on that stage right there. Now, I wanna call out my current seniors. If you remember, my OGs, if you're in 6th grade, I got on stage and this is the dumbest thing ever, by the way, don't do this. I got in a cardboard box, waist height, and I remember talking about how when I was younger, all I wanted to be when I was older was a boxer. And I jumped out of the box and I threw the box. I talked about not putting God in a box, and it was so stupid. But thankfully, I've changed since then. I've grown, and a lot has changed since then. When I look back at this stage in this room, I think about the past 6 years, so much has changed. Gotten engaged, gotten married, I've moved apartments multiple times, I've been in a bunch of my best friends' weddings, I've traveled internationally, I've had some of the most amazing experiences of my life that I will ever have in the past 6 years. And on the other hand, I've also experienced some immense loss, heartbreak, disappointments, and frustrations. And when I look back at the past 6 years, I think of all the change, from good to bad, and it's cool because I've been able to see God work in and through all of that. And when I'm reflecting on it, I think that it would be such a shame, as I'm looking back through all that change, if I came out of that completely unchanged. It would be a complete waste of those experiences, and it would be as if those never even happened if I wasn't changed from them. And what I want to propose to you is that what we're going through as not just a nation, but as a globe with this pandemic, one of the worst things that could happen to you is if you come out of this completely unchanged. See, what I don't want is for you to completely waste this opportunity to see God use you and grow you and better you as a person for when you do come out of this. And you may say, Pete, how can I change for the better from this if I can't even, go outside my house or interact with people? And that, that's a good point. But I was reading a Bible verse earlier, and I really want to share it with you. It's from a guy named Paul, and he was experiencing change. He had been shipwrecked. He had been tortured. I was going to say he had been suffered. He was suffering. He had been tortured. He had been shipwrecked. He had been in prison. He had been in shackles, and he was experiencing a lot of change. And do you know what he wrote right around that time? He wrote this verse that I want to share with you. So I'm going to share this verse, and I want to expand on what it really means. Paul wrote 1 Thessalonians 5:16-18, and it says this: "Rejoice always, pray continually, give thanks in all circumstances, for this is God's will for you in Christ Jesus." I'll read it one more time. "Rejoice always, pray continually, give thanks in all circumstances, for this is God's will for you in Christ Jesus." And I love that last little tagline, because you may say, Pete, this right now is God's will for my life. This situation that we're going through of change is God's will for my life. This pandemic is God's will for your life. That's not what Paul's saying. Paul's saying, he's not saying that your circumstance is God's will. He's saying your stance within it is what God desires from you. And what does he desire? He desires you to rejoice always, to pray continually, and to give thanks in all circumstances, so that you actually become better on the other side of it. And so that's all I want to challenge you with today. Don't just sit at home, scrolling through social media, wasting your day. Challenge yourself. How can you become better? How can you see God through this situation so that you are changed and you become the best version of yourself on the other side of it? So what I want you to do is I want you to share this post with anyone that you think could benefit from it. But I also want you to comment. Don't just sit, watch, say, that sounds good, and just keep scrolling. Write it out. Speak it out. Do something about it. How are you physically going to change? How are you spiritually, mentally, and emotionally going to change through this situation? I want you to comment. I'm going to change by becoming this, by focusing on this, by practicing this, by devoting my time to this. I love you all. I believe you can change for the better, and I believe that God can do some amazing things through you despite all of this change. See you soon.